Welcome back to Check Out the Stat by your girl Treasure Wilson, aka Stat Baby. So today we got to talk Team USA, the treatment of WNBA players, and today I have a very special guest. But first, I got to give a shout out to our sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. With Underdog, you can earn money by making picks on your favorite players. You can try the app in California, Texas, and New York, and the list goes on. If you want to play along, go download Underdog Fantasy. Use code STAT. They'll match your deposit up to $100, and you get a special pick. So before we get into the show, let's do our Underdog Fantasy picks of the day. So today, the Mercury will play the Fever. Underdog Fantasy has Caitlin Clark at 18.5 points. So last time the Fever did play the Mercury, Caitlin didn't even get 20. So I'm going to put her as lower. Aaliyah Boston is at 3.5 first quarter points. I'm going to put her higher. I think she can get 4, especially if the Fever have any intention in winning against the Mercury. And then Brittany Griner is at 27.5 points and rebounds. This is obviously what she is averaging, but for this game, I'm going to go lower. So make sure y'all download the Underdog Fantasy app and you guys can make your picks as well. So today, I have a very special guest, and her name is Bailey Jackson Sport. She's a content creator, entrepreneur, and also my good friend. So introducing Bailey. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm glad to have you here. Y'all don't know, this girl is my Superwoman of the Week. She does her thing. If you guys look at Bailey Jackson Sports, she will keep you up to date in all the sports information that you need to know in a fun, bite-sized, quick, consumption for people to see. Her stuff is going viral, so make sure y'all check her out on Instagram at Bailey Jackson Sports. I'm happy that we get to talk sports today and have you here, and I'm glad that you had safe travels.
Yes. No, I'm happy to be here. It's cool to be in person with you.
Yeah.
We've done the virtual situation before, so
yeah.
The studio setting, I'm ready for it.
Exactly. In studio is always better, and having her here is great for me. So let's get started. So Team USA beat Canada 86-72. I was actually in attendance for the game, but just, watching it overall, I kind of want to discuss how we feel about the game. So Bailey, I'm going to let you go first. From what you've seen from Team USA, how are you feeling about our team?
I feel good about our team. I think if anything, yesterday was more of a test for Canada to see if they were going to be real medal contenders and if they could honestly knock off Team USA. I feel like that was the conversation going into this exhibition game. Is how good is Canada going to be, and what is that going to look like for them, going into Paris, and a loss, but it's a close loss at the same time, and they are one of the few teams of one of the few countries that are able to start 5 NBA players or current NBA players too. So it's definitely going to be interesting for them. Like I said, focusing on Canada more than anything, it's going to be interesting for them going into Paris. I think they're strong favorites for silver for sure, and maybe still have the shot at knocking off Team USA for gold.
That's crazy to say, being that we are American, but I can't even be mad at you because Canada does have a strong team. Yeah. First of all, I'm going to set the scene because I had the experience of being there. First of all, the energy was super cool, seeing everybody, representing USA, being in that energy. Across from me is literally Barack Obama. I was lit. I was like, hold up, we presidential up in here. Right. Next to me, there was an NBA coach. So there's just a lot of people showing up for Team USA. Me personally, I was a little nervous. I felt like the game had a very slow start. Shots weren't making it. I'm expecting Steph Curry to make a shot and it go in. It's not going in. I'm nervous because that's not what I want to see from Steph Curry. Before previously, Anthony Edwards came out with the quote saying he feels like he's the number one option. And everybody's looking like, Ant-Man, pipe down. That sounds a little crazy. But to me on the court, it looked like he was the number one option. I ain't gonna lie. LeBron was in for a couple minutes. They took him out. When AD went in, I think he made an immediate impact. Jason Tatum, ever since they got that title, he has been feeling himself, and I'm going to give credit where it's due. He deserves to be feeling himself. He played well on the court, but the chemistry between the players on the court, it wasn't giving what it was supposed to give at first. I know that we ended up winning, in the end, because at the end of the day, the title is what matters. But from what I've seen, I'm a little bit nervous. I'm hoping, they can have more chemistry on the court, get more shots. And there's a specific player I want to talk about, but we will discuss him in a second. But I need more. It's not enough, especially from what we're seeing from the other countries thus far. So I'm, of course, going to root for Team USA.
Yeah.
But we will see what happens.
No, I'm on the same page as you. It's going to be Team USA all the way. Yeah, no, definitely rooting for Team USA. But it's going to be tough. I'm not going to lie. It's going to be tough.
Yeah. And before we even get into that, and deep dive into it further, you're actually going to be in Paris for the Olympics. Yeah. So would you like to tell my audience what you are doing, how you're feeling about it, and what you're covering?
Yeah, so I'll be in Paris covering swimming. I'll be out there with World Aquatics. So it's a crazy opportunity. I've never really covered swimming before.
Yeah.
But I will be doing all of the major events, all of the finals. I'll be out there July 23rd through August 5th. So literally a couple days before opening ceremony till the last finals is up. So excited. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling a little nervous, honestly, just because swimming's just not my area of expertise. But I think that's what's fun about this opportunity too, is the opportunity to be creative and go into it with some type of interest and hunger for learning the sport, and then two, just being as open-minded about the process and what we can do content-wise with this show that we're going to be producing.
All right. Well, first of all, congrats on that opportunity. When something good happens, I'm going to put it on air because I think everybody needs to know. And it's the year for women in sports. So even, like you said, swimming's not necessarily your strong suit. You're prepared for it. I think anything that comes your way, you will be fine. And you will be in Paris.
I know.
Having a time. I'm excited for you. That's going to be dope. No, literally, oui, bonjour, all the words that I don't know enough of, but you'll get some words up. Okay. Exactly. So let's discuss. So we know Kawhi is no longer with Team USA, and he will be replaced with Derek White. Obviously, there's a lot of discussion about why is it not Jaylen Brown? And Jaylen Brown, threw a little subs on Twitter with the emoji that he posted, and he said he added Nike. So my question to you is, do you think Jaylen Brown should have been the replacement for Derek White?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know what the process was for selection for Kawhi's replacement.
Yeah.
I feel like Jaylen was a no-brainer. So the fact that he wasn't chosen, because it's obvious at this point now that if he was, he wasn't asked. Because if he was asked, we wouldn't have seen what we saw on Twitter, right? So I think that was an initial question, at least for me. It was okay, well, was it a situation where they said, okay, hey, do you want this spot? And he's like, no, thanks. And I can understand that, he's coming off a championship. It's only been a few weeks since the NBA Finals. Maybe he didn't want it, but it's clear that he did want it.
Yeah.
He didn't get that opportunity. So I'm really curious to know what the committee was thinking.
Yeah.
Honestly, because like I said, Jaylen was a no-brainer backup, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, one, I'm happy that he was vocal about his frustration, because I feel like there's this mindset that players have to shut up and dribble. Okay, the committee made this decision. That's it. You have to deal with it. No, Jaylen Brown is very deserving. He's a champion NBA Finals MVP. He was clearly the clear-cut, most impactful player in the finals that we were seeing. And this is no diss at Derek White, because I don't want to take away his flowers, because that's also, a huge accomplishment. But Jaylen Brown is better.
Oh, 100%.
And we know he's better.
Yeah.
So why are you going to sit and act like Derek White is better when he's not?
I agree.
Shout out to Derek White, though, because, you're still a champion, and I don't want to diss you, but that's the elephant in the room. What are we talking about right now? But, shout out to Derek White. I do think Jaylen Brown should be in that position. I think that he would have made, a big impact. There's a lot of back and forth on, him being disliked because of a quote that Stephen A. said, and even at the ESPYs the other day, I'm pretty sure it was Cam Newton. I'm not for sure who asked him the question, but they asked him how he felt about not being with the Olympic team right now. And he kind of, threw the question to the side and was like, look, I'm with my beautiful date, Kiersey, and that's it, and left it at that. So I'm happy that he's being vocal. I wonder, how things will change, regarding the next Olympics, because I would feel some type of way if I'm Jaylen Brown And I kind of feel like he keeps kind of being hit on the side, and it's like he is deserving. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope they figure that out. But at least he's enjoying his time right now, enjoying his offseason, having a break, and he's on an uphill right now.
No, he is MVP.
Yeah.
He's got, like you said, his beautiful day. Kaiser Gondrzik out there on the red carpet with him. Like he's fine. He'll be fine. He'll continue to be okay. But I mean, he definitely does deserve more.
Yeah, he
And
does.
I think we all want more for him too.
Yeah.
What I'm really curious to know is with this decision, not that I don't think it's going to play too much of a role into next season, but how do you think it's going to change the dynamic of their relationship, White and Brown?
I don't even think just White. I think Tatum too. For me, if I'm Jaylen Brown and I'm good, like I'm nice at basketball, like this is the start of my villain story. Like y'all said Jason Tatum's him. Y'all said Derek White's him. Bet. Like I'm finna show y'all, because that's exactly the attitude, the energy that he should have, because it's like y'all keep doing all this. I'm going to continue to be vocal, say how I feel, perform well on the court. And honestly, like, and again, I do not want USA to lose. But if USA does lose, that's kind of like an I told you so type of moment.
Yeah.
So he has every right to do that because y'all didn't choose him. Mm-hmm. So that's how I feel about that. And then last question regarding Team USA. So I know you spoke about on your page, Bailey Jackson Sports, basically how different people have different opinions about Joel Embiid having a roster spot. Do you think Joel Embiid should be on Team USA?
There's a lot of conversation, I feel like, around Embiid being on Team USA between him playing for Cameroon, him playing for France, which I know was a promise that he supposedly made to their president if, he got his citizenship, and then he backed out once he got the USA roster spot. And then just the whole conversation around the injuries as well. It's like we saw Kawhi back out because he's dealing with the knee pain that's stemming from the injury that ended his season, right? And Embiid's in a very similar boat where he's been injury prone, he's been injury riddled for a good portion of his career as well. And it's like now with PG joining the 76ers, they're serious contenders. So is it in his best interest, if he wants to win a ring, if that's what he really wants to do, to back out and focus on being as healthy as possible to be ready for the regular season, most importantly, be ready for the postseason? And with that being said, I honestly think that should be his focus, and playing in the Olympics shouldn't.
That was the nicest way to say he should not be.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be sweet about it, but yeah, that's like that's my thought process behind it. It's like if he really wants a ring, then he needs to think about his priorities.
Mm-hmm. That's good. I can't even argue with that. That's a good point. I know his reasoning for saying that he wanted to be specifically representing Team USA is because his son was born here. But from even just what I've seen from the showcase, like, because I know I didn't get to see much from the actual practices that they held at UNLV, you fouled out in 12 minutes. You didn't score that well. And for me, like, we talk about the eye test on It Is What It Is, like, and I'm like, what does that really mean? Mm-hmm. In those seats at that showcase, I felt what that meant. And I mean no disrespect when I say this. Embiid is too big to be flopping around like that. Like, I'm expecting way more from this man. Like, you have the physicality, you have the walk, you have the movements, you came from overseas, you have a great origin story to you. All the tools are there, and what I'm seeing is it's not there. Like, I'm looking like, okay, Embiid about to get this shot out. He's about to get that rebound. He drops it. I'm like, yo, like, I know that this is for some people, this is your king. But on Team USA, he's not my king. Like, I'm giving it to Ant-Man. I'm giving it to Jason Tatum. I got to see more from Embiid. And honestly, I would rather have another person than him so he can focus, like you said, be in good health for when he returns for his season, because he got too much going on right now. And if he gets hurt, God forbid he doesn't, if he gets hurt during Team USA, how many passes are we supposed to keep giving you? Right. Like, it cannot keep happening. It's to a point where it's like, all right, let's be honest with ourselves.
Right.
Like, and that's one of those things there. So I do have another friend here in the studio who goes by the name of Justin Brown. I'm going to ask him his opinion on if he thinks Embiid should be on Team USA. I think it's good to have multiple perspectives, and he is a trusted voice JB, how you feeling today?
I feel great. How about yourself?
I'm feeling great as well. I'm happy you are here in Vegas and here safe. Both of them are visiting from the East Coast. So my question to you is, after seeing Joel Embiid's performance and just knowing the type of player that he is, do you think that he should have a Team USA roster spot?
At the end of the day, Joel Embiid is an MVP. He's one of, if not the best big man in the league. And he wants to play for Team USA. He was very excited when Grant Hill came and, extended him that offer. I was happy for him. I think he can make whatever decision he wants to make at the end of the day. If he wants to hoop for Team USA, let him hoop for Team USA. But you got to know the repercussions if, God forbid, he does get hurt. We know his history. It's unfortunate. But I feel like that first game, everyone's getting their feet wet. You got to get used to some of these new rules. They playing under FIBA rules. So fouling's a little different. There's a lot of little intricacies that, kind of make the game a little bit different for, a first-time Olympic player like Embiid himself. I feel like eventually he'll get, underway and he'll figure things out. So overall, I think he deserves that spot. He's an MVP. I'm a Sixers fan too, so I'm a little biased, but
Wah wah.
well, hey, we got a good shot this year.
No, yeah, you guys
honest,
definitely do.
Really do. But I think he deserves that spot. That's what I got to say.
Okay. That's a good answer. And when I say what I say, disclaimer, I know that Embiid is a great player. But as far as this roster spot and the team that I'm seeing, I don't like it. But I think the Sixers are going to have a great season. I'm not going to deny that. I think they have a really good core. I think they're going to, be a lot better. And I'm not going to say than people expected because I think we're already expecting them to be great. So if the chemistry doesn't work, kind of like what we're seeing with Team USA, that would be the reason why. Different personalities, new team figuring it out. That I understand. But from what I've seen, it's okay to wait another 4 years. Okay, so we're going to go to break. When we return, we will discuss the big news in the W. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Now we're going to discuss the big news in the W, where we address some of the things that have happened in the league this week. So Dejanay Carrington calls out fans for not treating Caitlin Clark the same way they treated her. She tweeted, "But I'm a racist, jealous, curse word, hating ass bitch who needs to go back to Africa when I do it, huh? Please." Like I said, this is basketball. So this is after basically Caitlin Clark mocked another player. Dejanay basically kind of got dragged on Twitter for mocking Caitlin Clark when she missed something. So I want to ask Bailey, you first. How do you feel about her viewpoint for saying that the treatment is different? And do you feel like players are still being treated unfairly compared to how Caitlin Clark is being treated?
The treatment's definitely different. And I think it really just comes down to Caitlin's fan base and just not even Caitlin's fan base. I just want to say like the new fan base, because these new fans, they don't respect anybody else in the league. And I think that's really just like the core of the issue. It's like, if you want to claim you're a WNBA fan, then look into the other WNBA players. Like, take some time to do your research and understand how they play, their style of play. Are they maybe a little bit more aggressive on the floor? Are they, going to be pushy and shovey and, you know what I mean? Like, are they going to pick on Caitlin? Absolutely, they're going to pick on Caitlin. That's another topic, too. Like, people came into this season's players came into this season ready to show Caitlin, like, hey, welcome to the league. You know what I mean? So I feel like at that point, or at this point, too, it's like with that in mind, anybody that's going to come in, up against her is going to be immediately, like, just tested online, because they're giving her that welcome to the league moment. They're showing her like, hey, this is what we're about. Like, yeah, you're cool, you're bringing hype to the W, but like, we're here too.
Yeah. No, I agree with that point, and it's like, I don't know, like, I like the competitive energy, but it just seems more and more like anytime somebody does something against Caitlin, it's just like it's always a big fuss. And to me, that take is just getting tired. For sure. Because honestly, the same, like, I'm for Caitlin Clark, you know, mocking and mimicking other players because, like, you bowed it. Like, you showing us you got that fire in you, same way Dejanay did it. And the thing that's annoying about it, too, is, like, Caitlin never has a problem with anything. Like you said, it's literally always the fans and the social media. And it's like, Dejanay is already outspoken and she feels how she feels, so she's going to say how she feels. I think hearing that tweet kind of takes people aback because she did use strong word choice.
Right.
But if that's her truth, I can never take that away from somebody because that's how she felt in that moment. She felt like this is unfair. You know, I did what I did, keep that same energy to her. But I'm not even feeling like keep that same energy to Caitlin Clark because I don't support unwarranted hate against people. Like, I just think Dejanay did it, Caitlin did it, we keep it pushing. And I like that energy, but to the extent of, like, keep the same energy, like, it should have never happened to Dejanay and it shouldn't happen to Caitlin. And I think that's how I feel about it. Mm-hmm. But I wonder just how it feels being a WNBA player and how the climate has changed for things that they have already been doing and then now kind of being put under a microscope for anything they do. Like, that's got to be really frustrating. I don't even have a, like, similar relation story that I could think of where, like, I was already doing something and now somebody else comes in and it's like, whoa, like, now I can't do that. Like, I don't even know what that feeling feels like, and that's probably exactly how they feel.
Right. So. Well, it's got to be tough, and I know even Aaliyah Boston has gone on record to say, like, she's had to delete social media. It's like, I'm sure everybody on the Fever is really, really going through it. You know what I mean? It's like, the rest of the league and, like, the ladies on the other teams, but, like, her immediate, you know what I mean, teammates, the people that are surrounded by her on, you know, a daily basis, It's tough. It's tough. Like I said, I mean, Aaliyah Boston's gone as far to delete all social media. She doesn't feel like she has a safe space anymore. And, you know, we're both in social media. You were both on social media. Like, it's tough out there. Like, I feel like we both single-handedly experienced kind of what that hate can look like and how nasty people are. So, you know, I can only imagine, like, you know, they're on a larger scale, on a larger platform, like you said, under this microscope and, like, constantly being nitpicked and judged game after game after game, you know? So it's tough. I mean, I'm saying that from my perspective of having a way smaller platform than they have and, you know, not being on TV every single night. So, my heart definitely goes out to the ladies because I can't imagine how much pressure that is and how emotionally taxing that is for them.
Right. And even to that point, like, and I feel bad for Aaliyah because she's just trying to, you know, get right, get in the groove and stuff like that. And people do just have a lot of unnecessary comments, even just in addition being a woman. Like, I know men get a lot of criticism too. And, like, already kind of like you said, like, we kind of see stuff and keep it pushing. Like, being on this screen and, like, delivering, like, I mean, I film It Is What It Is 5 times a week, having a social media. People just have these comments that are just like, dang, like, why did you feel the need to say that? I know that you have a phone and I know that you can express how you feel, but some things you can keep to yourself. Like, this is not an open diary for you to comment on my appearance or that you don't like the hairstyle that I have. Y'all, like, and I'm going to be fully transparent because this is my show. This is Check Out the Stat, duh. So I'm going to tell you right now, like, I post a picture, whole thread. Dang, she got big feet. Damn, like, I just posted a picture. Can you imagine if I'm on the court and I'm thinking I'm nice and, like, or I had a bad game and everybody is not even just talking about your game. You're not even cute. I don't even like how you look. Mm-hmm. Like, why would anybody, like, damn, like, the comments are so unwarranted, and being on that, you know, global aspect, it's like, it would be kind of cool, like, and it's getting to the point where, like, men and women would kind of protect each other in these spaces, which is getting, you know, the gap is getting closer together where that's starting to happen, but it's still not enough because the only way to get people to have different reactions is kind of when you have an alliance behind you. Yeah. And if it's just WNBA fans saying, oh, why are you saying that? And then people are like, oh, you're being overly sensitive or you're pressed. Like, no, like, y'all actually say things that people don't need to hear. Like, mental health is real. I just personally have learned to not care. I'm around New Yorkers, love them to death. They, you know, like, we're going to talk about a lot of different things, but not everybody has the mindset to keep it strong and keep it pushing. And you're lucky that a lot of these people continue to keep playing for really not even just self-fulfillment, but the audience's, entertainment. Like they're doing this for a reason or to represent something or stand for something that they care about. But them comments, they're unnecessary.
Totally.
So my heart goes out to them. And to DJ's point, I'm not saying that, every WNBA player is always right, but it's got to be annoying. And she's the type of person who reacts by speaking out. And she spoke out. And what she said is valid. What Caitlin Clark did is valid. You can trash talk. Like, you're on the court. Like, that's what you're supposed to do. So I feel for both of them. And hopefully this stuff dwindles down.
Yeah,
right.
Let's
and then
move on.
I got to ask you really quick.
Ask me.
Just in general about social media, like how do you feel reactions are for women in sports from what you've seen? And are you a newer fan? Like how you just been seeing the way that people are talking about women in sports and how do you feel about it?
I think overall, as of recent, there's been a lot more attention behind women's sports because of the recent growth in really women's basketball.
Yeah.
Honestly, with Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, that rivalry that, a lot of media is trying to, build right now, honestly. And, they're building off of it. They're performing against each other at a really high level. And it's really showing the talent that's always really been in the WNBA, but it's good to see, them starting to get the traction that they should have got a long time ago.
Yeah.
So.
No, I definitely agree. And I think the global scale, a lot more people are being tapped in. Hopefully they get more brand deals, more sponsorships, because these girls are killing it and doing their thing. So the hate is going to be there regardless. I don't like to say it makes you stronger, but it does make you stronger. It happens to all of us. But I hope they just take care of themselves and do what they enjoy and what they love, because in the end, it'll all pay off. Okay, so last little topic before we close out. So got to talk about the ESPYs really quick. Serena Williams threw a sub at a Chiefs player saying, so go ahead and enjoy women's sports like you would any other sports because they are sports. Except you, Harrison Butker. We don't need you. This was after he went viral for a speech that he made at a school talking about his thoughts in, just women and then their fulfillment in life, things of that nature. So if you guys seen the ESPYs, if the joke went over your head, it didn't make sense. But what was your thoughts on not even just the diss as a whole, but it coming from Serena Williams? And if you watch the ESPYs, what's your overall thoughts on it all?
Yeah, I mean, it's powerful coming from Serena. She's, arguably one of the best female athletes out there and like the GOAT of tennis.
Yeah.
So that, just put that out there first. Like, if Serena's calling you out, and that's the thing. It's like, we didn't know anything about this Harrison Butker guy until he went on, this crazy speech and, said what he said, and it blew up. And it's like, now you've got professional athletes way above you, way above your pay grade, way above your status and your level, speaking on you. Like, you've got people's attention, but not for the right reason. And the fact that they're now calling you out, I don't know how.
Ouch.
I don't know how I would come back from that. For real, I may have to live under a rock at that point. But she had every right to say, I'm not a Harrison Butker fan after he said all of that. So, coming from me, I liked that she's went up there and said exactly what we were all. I mean, a lot of us are thinking. I'm not gonna say all thinking because I know a lot of people did agree with him too. Yes. But. Yeah, I like that. I like watching that. I like seeing that, and I hope she continues to speak on stuff. If if she feels that she wants to and is compelled to speak on issues like that, or just hopefully there's no other NFL players that come out and started saying crazy stuff. But still, it's cool to see her after her career use her platform that way.
Right. Yeah, I agree. And it's funny because, some people did agree with him as well. I know that his jersey sales went up.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's this thing that, and I kind of said it before with Dejanay, and even, men too, that people who perform or play in sports have to be silent. Even out of Harrison Butker, I don't agree with what he said. But if that's how he felt, you can go say that to the people who, you want to talk to, and that's how they feel. But Serena can say how she felt, same way you said how you felt. Mm-hmm. And I think, she's valid in saying that. I like that she's speaking up and can have a little bit of character to her, even earlier in the show. And I Guys, I know I've talked about Drake and Kendrick a little bit, but like she even opened the SB saying like, don't go picking a fight with Kendrick Lamar. And then she started, I was like, where did this come from? But I love the energy. I love when athletes speak their mind and say how they feel. It makes them funnier. Like even some like the best athletes we've seen have been very vocal. I understand a private life and wanting to keep things contained, but like we want to see your energy. We want to know who you are off the court or the field or like wherever they play, like the swimming pool.
Yeah.
So I like that energy. I thought the ESPYs was good. Also spoke about it earlier on. It is what it is. It did recognize a lot of women in sports, and rightfully as it should. I mean, Juju Watkins got her praise. Asia Wilson got her praise. Caitlin Clark got her praise. Dawn Staley, the South Carolina women's basketball team, and as they should, because we've had a lot of attention on them, and we've had people, start listening to women's sports who never would have before. It made it interesting because regardless of what people are going to say, you can say you like to see good ball and like you like to see a good game. Like, I'm not going to say I do, but people like the drama. Like people like storylines, and all these people made an impact in storylines that made people tune in to basically, give insight and praise to the other people who have been doing well. Because I mean, like Breonna Stewart, Sabrina Ionescu, they've been killing it for the Liberty. A lot of people didn't tap into them after seeing, Caitlin Clark going viral, or Angel Reese with this, or Dawn Staley trying to do the Tamia dance, or whatever you may have seen. It came from storyline. So I'm happy that Serena said what she felt, because it's how a lot of us felt. He deserved that little diss, but he'll be fine because he's going to be right back on the field with the Chiefs this year.
Yeah.
But all in all, that is it for today's episode. Bailey, it was a pleasure to have you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Being here. Justin Brown, thank you for your insight, Mr. Analyst. It was a pleasure to have you on the show today.
I had a blast. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Y'all can hashtag check out the stats so we can continue the discussion next week, and maybe your question or take will be featured. But thanks for hanging out with me and checking out the stats. I'll see y'all next week.